Hey guys, so welcome back to our weekly live event. It's great to see everybody again. Today we're going to be going over mortgages and what I'm seeing in the mortgage industry currently and how you guys can benefit. So welcome everybody back. It's good to see everybody. How's everybody's week been? Good to see everybody again. For y'all that don't know, we don't curse on our live event, so please let's be respectful of everybody on here. We're here to learn. We're here to, grow financially. We're able to get it to the next level. And blocked. What's up, guys? What's up, Rock? What's up, Jason? All right. Rudy, what's going on? Teen Ambitions, what's up, man? Already got love. Already got the thumbs up, got the hearts. Yep, banned. No cursing. What's up, Sammy? What's up, Julio? All right, guys. I got some great questions for this live tonight. Awesome. I love great questions. I love difficult questions because, the harder the question, the more I can teach you guys. More than happy to help. What's up, Rocket? A rock star. All right. So best advice for someone going into the first four audit at Big Four. First year of audit at Big Four. Sleep a lot. I'm going to tell you to sleep a lot because during season, I was working almost 100 hours. So just, working out is so important because once you're starting to push in the business world and you're putting in 80, 100 hours at work, because you're physically conditioned, you can put in work, you can stay mentally focused, you can get stuff done instead of because what happens after a while, you get this haze going on while you're working and you start losing focus and then your productivity drops. So just bought my fourth rental at 22. It's awesome. It's awesome. I think if you check out my course, it teaches you how to get to 23 units by the age of 23. The rental game's awesome. I'm 34 now and definitely reaping the benefits from the work I did when I was 22, 23. All right. What's up, guys? All right, remember, guys, let's be respectful. Otherwise, you'll get banned. I would like to buy an apartment complex with 10% down, fully rented, over 5 units. It's possible to do that. You can do that, but you have to find a seller willing to work with you with those conditions. And you can get hard money loans for that type of deal as well, but the rates aren't going to be that great. Normally, when you're doing that, you're planning to add value to the property. And then after you add value, you're then going to refinance and lock in a lower interest rate. But possible. Nice to see you too. So do I enjoy doing cardio? To be honest with you, no, I don't enjoy doing cardio. That's why I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I basically am using Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as my cardio because I actually like being engaged. I like, doing stuff, and I basically use that as my cardio. All right, so what do you think the best investment for a teenager is? And from that investment, make money. So Warren Buffett says the best investment you can make is in your education. So, and that's 100% true because the stuff that I learned, all those books that I read when I was younger, they lasted with me my whole life. I constantly had a return on investment from what I learned. So the younger you learn, the better. So I would say study and learn and read books and grow because the more you learn, the more you can do with that knowledge. And then once you get older, like right now I'm doing certain things and I'm like, man, I wish I started way like a long time ago doing this thing, or I wish I learned this a long time ago because it would have saved me so much headache, so much heartache. It's just, it would have been, nice to learn earlier. So invest in yourself. That's the biggest return on investment. How do you feel about out-of-state and rental investing for the first deal as an investor? Honestly, I think if you can get an investment in your area and try to get a fourplex, first-time home buyer, you live in one side, rent out the other three, I think it's a great return on investment. I know some people out there bashing it. That's their opinion. But I did it, and I've done extremely well doing it. And you'll understand how the business is. Now, if you're going to invest out of state, I would partner with somebody else because the results on your investment, from what I've seen from out-of-state investors, if they don't have someone that they know managing this property, or they're not partnering with someone else on a property, and they don't have a local person managing it, it can easily become a opportunity where you lose money instead of making money. So you have to have a good team member, okay? So Nico says, how do I get rid of PMI? So I'm actually helping a lot of people get rid of PMI right now. What we're doing is we're doing a refinance. So you buy a property, you put 3.5% down. Along the way, you're adding value to the property. The property is appreciating because of inflation and so on. So now when you do a refinance, if you made a smart decision on the property you purchased, you should now have the 20% equity in the property. So when you're doing a refinance, you can lower the interest rate, you can remove the PMI, and you can save $300-400 a month. So right now I'm talking to someone about doing a refi for them, and they're going to save about $300-400 a month on their mortgage by just doing a simple refinance, and they've owned the property for 2 years. So, and they really didn't do too much to it, but the values have obviously appreciated. So they're going to do a refinance now, save $300-400 a month on their mortgage payment, and think of it. If you saved $400 on your mortgage payment, that's $4,800 a year. That $4,800 a year is tax-free. That's money in your pocket. And what could you do to save or make $4,800 a year every single year? Because it's not like you're saving that money one time. You're saving that money every single year for the next 10 years at minimum, if you're staying there for 10 years. So you just saved $48,000 by making that decision. I actually had someone right now, I'm working on their taxes, or not taxes, on their mortgage. And I did, right now, if you're doing a cash out refinance, paying off a second mortgage, consolidating debt, it costs some money. The costs for the refi is higher than normal since there's so many people doing refinances. So I calculated she's going to save around $32,000 in interest alone over the next 10 years. She would save $32,000 in interest alone by doing the refi. But her struggle is that she sees it's $7,000 in closing costs. She's like, well, I don't want to pay that $7,000 in closing costs. I'm like, well, you don't have to pay $7,000. We can roll it into the loan. Well, I don't want to have to pay that much money and roll it into the loan. I'm like, well, just think about it. You spend $7,000 one time, and you're going to save $32,000 over the next 10 years. That means you're going to recoup your money in 2.5 years, and the rest of the 7.5 years is straight profit. Where are you going to make a move that you're going to make 40% return on investment, annualized, consistent for 10 years? Nowhere. Nowhere can you spend $7,000 and make 40% return on your investment. So that's the logic. That's where I'm talking about how intelligent investors think. They don't think about, oh, $7,000. They think, if I spend the $7,000, what do I get for it? What do you get for it? It isn't about spending the money. Like right now, the last property I purchased, I had so many contractors thinking I'm crazy because I bought the property for $950,000, and I spent about $800,000 on the remodel. And they're like, they wouldn't tell me this, but they were, after the project's over, they told me they thought I was crazy because I spent $800,000 on that property. Now, once it finished, they're like, wow, now we see why you spent this much money. I'm making so much money off of this property. I didn't let my emotions get involved. The numbers said this was a good idea. So if you run your numbers and the numbers say this is a good investment, then you do it. You don't do it off of your emotion. You do it off of what the numbers say you can do. And then you move forward in faith. Because if you move forward and you don't have faith, then you're going to fail. And you didn't fail because a plan was bad. It failed because your execution wasn't there. Your passion wasn't there. So remember, once you know this is going to work, move forward in faith, move forward with passion so you can succeed as well. All right, guys. Hey, what's up, Lucy? Lucy's saying, hey, Pascal, good to see you again. I'd like to know, how did you come up with the payment on your home, including the 2 mortgages and services? Can you go into more detail regarding what you mean by how did I come up with the 2 payments on my home, including 2 mortgages and services? Can you clarify that question just so I can answer it exactly the way you're asking it, or give you the answer that you're actually asking for? Juan says, what are your thoughts on the best areas for multifamily apartment complexes in Florida? So each county has their own area that's good. So I like secondary and tertiary markets that are in downtown core areas. So it doesn't really depend on the city. It depends where in the city you're buying it, okay? So if I'm looking in Dunedin, I want to be in downtown Dunedin. I don't want to be in just Dunedin. I want to be in downtown Safety Harbor. I don't want to just be in Safety Harbor. I want to be in downtown St. Pete, or because not just St. Pete, because those cities have different parts, and you want to be in the part which is going to grow. You want to be in the part where there's going to be people going with money. That's your goal. Let's go live. Remember, guys, those who ask to go live, I answer the questions first. Second, I answer the questions on YouTube. Third, I answer the questions in the comment section of IG, and then I'll go into the DMs. Got it. So Lucy's question was, a couple of live events ago, you said you pay $3,000 on a $525,000 loan plus expenses. So great question. I'll go break down the numbers. I purchased my home for $467,000. Okay. I put down 20%. With the lender's credit, I only had to put down roughly about $88,000. My mortgage payment before the refinance, I'm about to do a refinance. My mortgage payment before the refinance is $1,850 a month. And I'm about to do a refinance, and that mortgage payment is going to drop to about $1,450 a month for the first mortgage. Now, I have a second mortgage for $140,000. That is more than what I bought the property for. I used extra money to put on a new roof, put on a water purification system, a salt water system for the pool. It increased the AC system, like improved it energy efficiency-wise and health-wise, where it has like UV lights and all these extra things. I put in all this new TV inside, TV outside. I just made the house the way I wanted it, right? Set up a electric charger for my BMW, the i8. I did a whole bunch of different stuff to the house, right? Because I got an extra $60,000 to invest into the house the way I wanted. And then I bought my kids a play set for the outside. That was like $3,000 because it's like the 3-story ones. And then I got them an inside bounce house. And then I got an $8,000 14.5-foot table. that actually would cost $40,000 if I bought it retail, but I had someone custom build it. So I put a lot of stuff in the house the way I like the house, the way I want it. So not only did I buy the house, I actually got $60,000 out of it because I bought smart. That payment for the $140,000 cost me, I think, $500 a month. So my first mortgage and second mortgage together cost me $1,950 a month. Then I have my taxes and insurance. My insurance is about $100, $125 a month. My taxes are around it's about $600 a month. So I'm looking at $2,600 a month. First mortgage, second mortgage, taxes, insurance. And again, I took $60,000 out and invested in the house the way I wanted to. Now, on top of that, I then have lawn maintenance, which is $100, so I'm at $2,700. I have pool maintenance, which is $100, so I'm at $2,800. My electric bill is averaging $300 a month, so I'm at $3,100. My water, sewer, garbage is about $100, so I'm at $3,200. So electric, and then the internet's $100, so I'm at $3,300. So I'm saying, to live in this place, this is 3,300 square foot house, 5 bedroom, 3 bathroom, 3 car garage with a pool, 3/4 of an acre in a great part of town, right? I'm in the Tampa Bay market. Great school district, all A-rated school, A-rated high school, middle school, and elementary school. I'm paying $3,300. It would cost you that much to rent this house. So not only did I house hack this house, I'm living in it for $3,300, which is basically how much rent would cost. So someone would be like, well, don't buy your own house. It's not an investment. Well, it is an investment. It's not an investment. It's an asset. Owning your own home is an asset. It's not an investment. Now they're like, oh, well, you have to pay monthly for it. I basically am paying less than it would for me to rent this house. And now I get the write off the taxes, and I get to write off the insurance, the interest on the first and second loan. So not only am I paying less than I would for renting this place, I'm also writing off almost all the expenses living here. So now not only am I basically living here for free, I'm actually getting a tax write-off, so I'm getting money back. And then on average, the home's probably going up probably on 4 or 5% averaging, if not more. So that's giving me another $30,000 a year in asset appreciation, where it cost me, with all utilities, $38,000 a year to live here. So if I net out appreciation, I'm only paying $8,000. If I net out the tax savings, that cost me the $8,000. So now I'm living here for free. Now do you see, if you play the game right, if you don't say, well, I don't feel like doing that. You can't say, I don't feel like doing that. You play the game the way the game's supposed to be played. And if you play it right, you can win. So I'm playing the game, and now I'm living here for basically for free. So Lucy said, without the refi, your payment is around 37 plus taxes, plus expenses. No, actually, without the refi. Without the refi, yeah, it'd be about $3,700, and that includes expenses. So $3,700 includes electric, internet, water, sewer, garbage, lawn maintenance, and pool maintenance. It includes everything. So with when I do the refi and lower my interest rate, I'm going to be at $3,300, and that includes, again, electric, water, sewer, garbage. This is a big house. Like on average, it's $300 electric bill. I mean, when it's high, it's $550. When it's low, it's $150. Depends on how hot it is. So yeah, so it includes electric, internet, cable, water, sewer, garbage, trash, lawn maintenance, and pool maintenance. All of it is in $3,300. So you can see, like, you do it right, you'll definitely, it's definitely nice, you know. All right, let's try to answer some questions. I'm waiting for Nick to log in. Hey, what's up, Nick?
So, man, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. Congrats on Worlds, bro.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to Worlds November 7th. Actually, I was gonna show you guys. This is my medal that I got. My daughter actually wants to take it to school for show and tell, so that was cute.
Awesome,
but
man.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Just a quick question for you. So, in one of your previous videos, you had mentioned that you weren't a big fan of Wells Fargo as far as loans go. So,
I just honestly cover your ears. I think they're a shitty company, just overall, with how all the fraud that they did, how they treat their customers. They act nice to you because they want to sell you something, but do they actually take care of you? I've had multiple negative experiences, so I just really hate them. So I'm very happy that Warren Buffett sold all of his Wells Fargo stock.
Okay. So what would be your recommendation as far as where to get another loan through?
You can go through me. I can get you the loan. What state are you in?
I'm over in Michigan.
Michigan. All right. So currently I'm not doing Michigan yet, but what I would do is say get a broker. So for example, Wells Fargo right now and Chase are not doing any loans unless you have a 720 credit score and 20% down.
Okay.
So they're very strict on who they're even looking at. So if you go through a broker, like I have about 5 companies I work with. So I'm going to find somebody that's going to meet the client's needs because everyone's scenario slightly differs. So that's the way I would go because a broker's going to have multiple options for you.
Okay. Had one other question. I threw a comment on there. So with the crash coming up next year is what you're saying. How long do you think it'll take for the market to rebound after that?
Normally it's like a 3-year period.
Okay.
Normally it's a 3-year period. So like, and that's my opinion. And then I watched the video from Manny Kashabin, and he had like the same outlook. So I'd just be very prepared because there's a lot of big companies that have raised hundreds of billions of dollars to buy property. So when the opportunity comes, it's going to be scooped up quickly. So I think there's going to be opportunity, but for those that are prepared to take advantage of it when it's here. So that's what I'm saying. Make sure there are people who don't know what's going on to take the course, because if you have your credit screwed up and everything else good, you might miss out. If you have everything else good, but you don't have the proper savings, you might miss out. If you have your credit and your cash good, but you don't have your tax returns properly prepared, you might miss out. So you have to make sure that every aspect of it is in line so you can benefit and you can win when the opportunities come.
Okay, and when you say the course, you mean your course, Foundations of Personal Finance?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, it basically goes off all of the basics that you have to have checked off to make sure it will line up. Otherwise, you're going to get a kink in the road, and then there's an opportunity that you're going to miss. And that's one of the most frustrating things that I've experienced, is that not when I've tried my hardest and I didn't accomplish my goal. It's when I didn't try and I knew what to do and I didn't do it. That is the biggest frustrating point,
Right. Cool.
Yeah. So what do you own any property already?
I own my house in Michigan. Yeah, just the one property.
Nice. Well, as I've been telling everybody, refinance now while you can. Pull out any cash that you can and make sure that you have everything saved up and ready. There's either one or two things. You should refi to lower your payment so your DTI is good, or you can also take cash out. In some situations, you can take cash out and lower your payment at the same time. So do your research, see what's best for you guys, and just be ready.
Okay, cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you letting me go live. Thanks for answering the questions, and good luck at Worlds.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Are you a millionaire? Yeah. Being a millionaire nowadays is actually really easy. It's not that hard to be a millionaire today. How did you start in real estate? At 14, I learned, the basics of the game. I became infatuated with real estate. I spent 5 years basically learning the different aspects of how to get a deal going: credit, tax returns, savings, mortgages, and investing, the rental property game. And by the time I was 19, I was able to buy my first duplex. And then the next year I bought another one. 6 months later, I bought a 7-unit, and then I kept on buying more. And then, by the time I was 23, I owned 23 units. And then right after that, the market crashed. So I was fortunate enough to be able to save all my properties that I had and not be pulled down with the market. And the rest is history. So, all right. Teen Ambition says, I'm 16 right now and was curious, when you were 19 and bought your property, did you work for 2 years? I hear you cannot get a loan without that. So at 18, I was working, and I started working for the bank, I think, halfway through the year. So then the following year, I had a tax return, and I had, half a year's work. And then when I applied for the loan, the second year I had another half. So I showed the income at one tax return. Maybe I had 2 tax returns. But it's when you have a W-2 income, it's easier to get a loan. And if you have a stable job, it's easier to get a loan. So if it's the best case scenario is you have 2 years of W-2 income from the same employer. Yes, that would be the best. But if you don't, you can still find loans. You can still qualify for loans. It's just, you got to make sure it's going to take a little bit longer to qualify for the loan. Good question. All right. If anyone wants to go live and ask questions, you're welcome to. All right. Nico says, how much does it cost to refi in fees and all? So if you're doing a standard rate and term refi, and what does a rate and term refi mean? It means all you're doing is refinancing your first mortgage. So you're either looking to take your loan and make it a 30-year again, or you're looking to make the loan into a 15-year and lower your interest rates. That's really your goal. I want to get a lower interest rate. I want a lower payment. That, in the sense of fees and points, right now, most of them, there is no fees, there is no points, and a lot of times they actually pay you a little bit to do it. But there's still title insurance, and then there's taxes associated to the loan process. So you're looking at probably, I'm going to say, $3,000, $4,000 to do it. Most people that I've been reviewing, when I'm the numbers I'm reviewing, most people are saving 1% to 2%. So they're saving $2,000 to $4,000 a year on their refi. I mean, they break even year one, 100% return on investment. So year 2, they save $4,000. It's really a good deal. Even if you get a 50% return on investment. Normally, I'll say yes to any decision as long as I get a 25% return on investment. So if I spend this money and I can make that back in 4 years, then, I mean, that's great. Warren Buffett asks for a 15% return. If he can make a 15% annualized return on an investment, it's normally a yes for him. So me, I'm a little more strict. I say 25%. So in my opinion, if you can do a refinance and the closing cost you can recoup within 4 years, then usually it's a yes. So that's my opinion. Now, if you're doing cash out, it's normally around $7,000. If you're doing an investment property, it's another probably $2,000. If you're doing a 4-unit property, it's another $2,000 to $4,000. So I'm doing a cash out refinance on a 4-plex that I own. My closing cost on this 4-plex is $24,000. Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm going to save, from my calculations, I'm going to save about $8,000 a year in interest. So I'm going to recoup it in 3 years. Where can I spend $24,000 and make 33% return annualized? Like nowhere, right? So over a 10-year period, I saved $80,000 in interest and I spent $24,000. I think it's a good deal. For some reason on IG, all of the comments, like the DMs, I can't see them. So if you have a question, put it in the question section so I can answer it. Bob says, I thought you could only get a new appraisal to get out of PMI rather than a refi. True. So some, depending on what type of property you have, some properties automatically, some loans automatically will remove PMI once you are under 78% loan to value. But that is loan to original value. So you would probably have to wait about 5 to 10 years before you paid it down enough. Other loans, you could do that with an appraisal. Some loans won't allow it until after year 10. So it all comes down to the details of your loan. Most people end up just doing a refi after 2 to 3 years because the values in the last 10 years have appreciated so quickly that after 2 to 3 years, you could do a refinance and remove your PMI and lower your payment with a lower interest rate, and you're saving, $300 to $400 a month from the scenarios I've been reviewing. You save about $300 to $400 a month. So if you just calculate the numbers, see what's worth it to you. Some people are doing refinances as long as they can save $150 a month. It really depends on your financial situation and what makes sense. But there is many ways you can remove PMI on your loan. Hey, what's up, Nico?
Mr. Vasco, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, I'm asking a lot of questions here because I'm digging deeper into this refi now. Can I give you a real case situation here?
I love it. I like real case scenarios.
All right. So 2017, we purchased a single family dwelling for $260.
Okay.
Okay. So we put it down about, I think it was slightly higher than 5%, was $17,000 down.
Okay.
Okay. So time passes. That is the appreciation of the asset.
Mm-hmm.
And I called them. It's a Wells Fargo bank.
Mm-hmm.
So I called them and say, hey, we got the house for $258, which is $260. Let's work with that number, $260.
Mm-hmm.
We put $17,000 down. The appreciation, compared to the comps we have right now, we should have, more than 20% out.
What is the current market value?
310.
310. So that means if you're at 62,000, so you would need to be at like $248,000 loan. So what's your current loan amount?
So the loan amount right here is, let me pull that up. Let me get one of the bills here. It should be something like 237, I believe.
So 237, you're going to add in about $5,000 in closing costs. So you're at 242. So you're underneath the 80% mark. You might want to actually throw a couple of $1,000 out of your pocket to try to be under 75%, because there is a better deal under 75% than 80%. So you might want to just throw a few thousand out of pocket to lower it even more, and then you could get a better terms on the loan. So what state are you in?
Texas, Dallas.
Awesome. So yeah, it sounds like from what the numbers you're telling me sounds good. Sounds you should be able to get somewhere around somewhere under 3 and remove your PMI. Yeah.
Yeah, look, so they sent me a letter. Actually, I was off one number there, so I threw you off a little bit. But so the original loan, 258, the unpaid balance is 227. And they're saying my LTV ratio, it's 88.2.
Because they probably didn't appraise the new market value. Remember, remember the prior question the person asked me said, I thought we can remove PMI once automatically. So some loans have it written, once you're under 78%, it automatically falls off.
Okay.
Some loans have a rule that says they will not remove PMI until after 10 years. So in most scenarios, I've seen people refinance to get rid of PMI. And plus, what is your interest rate right now?
3.75.
So in your scenario, most likely it'd probably be beneficial for you to refinance, remove PMI, lower your interest rate to 2.99, and be there. Now, I probably think maybe paying a little bit of the loan down to get it down to 75% to see what the difference in fees are going to be. Because normally fees are less when you're at 75% LTV. At that point, if you decide, sometimes I would strategically pay it down, have it paid down I pay it down at closing. But then what I do is I go get a home equity line of credit and I pull the 5% right back out. And I just take the money right back out because it ends up being a better deal having 75% on my first and then having whatever else money I want on a second line of credit.
Right. But so in this case, we cannot take any money out because there's not much of an equity, right?
No. So this is how it works. You're not going to take the money out on the first mortgage. You're actually going to pay down the first mortgage.
Okay.
After you close on the first mortgage, you go and get a home equity line of credit, and that's a separate second mortgage. Like I have a home equity line of credit up to 100% of the value of my house. In your scenario, you wouldn't even need to do that unless you wanted to have the cash to buy more deals. You could just go get a home equity line of credit and they would offer you, hey, we're going to give you $50,000 and you can use whatever you want out of it. So if you're just saying, you know what, I have the money in my savings account, I'll pay down the mortgage to 75%. After I get my refinance completed, I'll then go get a home equity line of credit from a separate company. I'll pull the money out of the line of credit and put it right back into my savings account.
Okay. And you think on a 299 is a feasible interest rate right now?
I mean, I've done 30 years at 2.99. I've done some at 2.75. I've done some at 3.25. It all depends on like the terms, the rates and fees, the borrower situation. But either way, I mean, you can calculate what is your payment going to be at 3.25 with no PMI. And you can calculate what is the return for you. Like how much are you paying in PMI right now?
I think it's about $140 a month. 140.
And then if you could save 1% of 2, so 2,600, so it'd be like 22,000. So 2,000. So you're gonna save like $3,500 to $4,000 a year between interest and PMI. So if it costs you $5,000 to do it, you're getting an 80% return on investment. And then that's an annualized savings every single year. The issue that we're running into is I predict that the housing market's going to crash next year. Prices are going to go down. So it's either you refi now and do it, or the other logic would be like, well, I can wait till next year and hopefully it's going to naturally fall off. But if the housing market crashes, that means you won't, and it's not going to probably come back for another 5 years. So it's either refi now or refi in 5 years. Save $3,500 a year now, or wait 5 years before you start saving $3,500. But if you do that, that means it would have been an extra $17,500 in interest and PMI you'd be paying. So you just have to calculate and see what works for you. I mean, the numbers are making sense to me right now, which way to go, but you got to figure out what feels comfortable for you.
Right, but on the second loan, I have to have at least 20% equity on the property, right? Otherwise, they're not going to give me no? Which banks they do that with less than 20%? Because I tried once and they said
if you're going to local banks, if you're going to the big banks, they're not going to give it to you. Yeah,
Okay.
I go to bank, like I got my home equity line of credit. They give me up to 100% of my home value. I remember, if you listen to the scenario I explained earlier today, Lucy's question is asking me, how am I living in the house for free? I live in this $550,000 house and I have none of my own money in it.
Okay.
I purchased the property, I put down 20%. Then I went, after I bought the property, did a couple of upgrades, I went and got a home equity line of credit. I only had $80,000 of my own money into this property. And when I did my refi, they gave me $140,000. Not refi. I'm sorry, not refi.
Okay.
When I got the second mortgage, they gave me $140,000. So my first mortgage was the 80% that I purchased at, and then I got a second for $140,000. So I got all of my initial money back, plus I got an extra $60,000.
Okay. So you think like credit unions will be a little more lenient towards that strategy?
They'll be okay, but they're not going to go to 90. They're not going to go to 100. You have to go to a bank that specializes in lines of credits. So Bank United, write down, Bank United is who you're going to want to call after you do your refinance, not before, after.
Okay. Okay. And for the refi, do you have any suggestions for the refi? I think you do those things, right?
I do refinances. I'm working on getting Texas. So if you're patient and you give me like a month, I'll probably be able to do it for you. Right now I'm finishing getting Texas done, California, New Jersey, New York, Arizona, Oregon, Illinois, Georgia. Those are the ones we're trying to, so in Florida. I'm already doing Florida right now. But those are the ones we're trying to get done in the next month. So if you give me a month, I could probably just do it myself. So again, 80%, if you can squeeze the extra money out and pay it down to 75%, it'll cost you less on the refi usually in fees.
Okay. Just send a check with the principal on it and just...
You don't have to do it right away. You can, in the refinance, you could just say, I'm going to pay this at the closing. So when you say, you can tell them, hey, when you give me this loan, the day we're going to do the refinance, the day we're closing, I will give you a check and you just now give me a loan for this less amount of money. And then because it's a smaller amount of money, the loan to value is less. They charge you less fees and they give you better interest rate.
Right.
The bank's is called Bank United. For those that are asking, it's called Bank United. Or is it United Bank? One of the two. That's fine. Yeah, it's one of the two. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I wrote that down, and I'll give them a call tomorrow, and I'll give a feedback on Sunday.
Yeah, so just ask them what's their loan to value in Texas. How high will you go loan to value? They might go only 90% now because of the pandemic. So if they go to 90, that means they're going to assess your home at 90 will be 270 plus 9, 279. So 279, and then you're paying your loan down to 75%. So you're at like 225. So yeah, that means they'll give you a line of credit for about $50,000. So you'll have $50,000, and if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. You'll have that $50,000 available to use. You know, I mean, I don't know what your situation is. Maybe you consolidate your debt, pay off anything else that's high interest rate. But if you're comfortable, then it's there for whatever else you want to do. If there's any other investments that come available, maybe you use that money to invest somewhere else. Because I normally use my line of credit because my line of credit is normally like 3%, 4%, 5%. I'll take that money and I'll invest it into a property that's going to make me a 15% IRR. So now I'm borrowing it at 5, and returning 15, and now I basically made a free 10%.
Yeah.
Instead of letting my equity sit in my home, not doing anything, I take that equity and make it go out and work for me. You know, that's when you switch working for your money and having your money work for you.
Right. We're planning to. I did a back-to-back 2 properties. We're moving to the third one on the single-family dwelling.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason originally I was thinking about the third one because of the depreciation of the single-family dwelling. But if I'm renting, that doesn't make sense. Just have one tenant. So after I start listening to you, that is say, hey, don't do a single family. At least duplex, triplex, or fourplex. So I start thinking of that. Of course, it makes much more sense. So I'm looking into piling up as much as I can for the money. So next year I can move into a duplex. But the duplex is over here. It's like sits on the market for 3 to 5 days. Gone.
That's how it is here too. Like if you're not, that's why I was saying like most of the time when people are finding properties, if you're not a player, you're not getting it. Like when I see a property that I buy, if you see my posts, my stories, it's gone in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I see it within 10 minutes. I bought it. So a lot of times people are like, how did you get that deal? Simple. I bought it within 10 minutes. And most of these realtors know who I am. So they know when I come in with an offer, it's gonna close. Like it's not like I do. A lot of people that start doing this business, they're new.
Right.
And they don't know what they're doing. And the people don't know if they can actually get the loan. So people don't feel comfortable. But a lot of times when I come in, I could buy a property cheaper than someone else because they know, well, I know Pascal is going to close this deal. Mm-hmm. No one's wondering if it's going to close. We know it's going to close. So it takes a while before you have the recognition in the market that you are someone that is good on their word, and there is a value for being good on your word. So despite that we're in 2020 and it's a new world, in the real estate world, your word is big. So if you say something and you keep it, there's a big respect for that. And there's a big discount for that.
Okay, and how do you set up like alerts? Because the thing is, I have a 9 to 5 job. So my only time to see the properties when I get home and I can check them out. So do you have alerts that you set them up when the property you're looking for pops up, or you just keep looking through the whole day?
I do both. I do alerts and I look. And most of the time when I see a property, I don't go and see it. I look at it. I say, okay, this is what I want. I call them and I say, I'm going to buy it. Mm-hmm. Send me the contract. I'm buying this.
Okay.
So
and if you
go ahead.
Do you introduce yourself as an investor or just like as a private buyer? Because I know it makes a difference to them.
Oh, well, to me, that's the same thing.
Okay. I talked to some realtors. They say, investors, they always have the cash deal. And as opposed to say I'm a private buyer, they always, listen a little more attentive to the investor as opposed to the private buyer, like as you said, because they don't know much of what they're doing.
Well, people can look at both negatively or positively depending on how much history they have. So when you're calling and you're like, hey, I own 35 properties and I own 16 in your neighborhood and I've been watching your property and I want to buy it, that's different than someone's like kicking the tires.
Right.
The realtor can normally tell if someone knows what they're talking about, and then they usually they're like working with someone that knows what they're talking about.
And do you normally use the double dip strategy too, or no? You have someone representing you?
I often use the double dip strategy. Sometimes I let someone represent me. It's strategic in this scenario.
Right. Okay. So you think it's better the double dip, right? Which is more effective?
It depends how aggressive the market is. It depends how aggressive the deal is. It depends on many factors. But Normally, it makes things easier on the double dip.
The double dip.
It makes things usually a little easier, yeah.
Because some states, I'm not sure, some states are allowed to. I know they allowed to do it, and other states don't. Is that something legit or no?
I mean, in Florida, it's allowed. I don't know of what state it's not allowed, but I've not heard of any state it not being allowed. So I can't really say, I've never heard of it not being allowed.
Okay, good. All right, oh man, you did all the answers questions. I have all the box checked.
Again, we do this all day. So I do this every day. That's why these answering the questions, running numbers, for me, what's a no-brainer, it's very fast to know what the answer, to say, yes, it's a good deal. No, it's a bad deal. So a lot of times people will be half through the question and I'll be like, no, don't do it. Because I already know like, you already said it, you said enough. Nothing else could you say can change my mind, But in your scenario, it looks like hands down, it sounds like a good deal. Like it's positive for you to make that decision.
Got it. Yeah, I'm gonna call them tomorrow for sure. I'll let you know. I'll give you feedback on next live.
Awesome. And if you need help with your refi, let me know. I'll help work on that for you.
Hey, no rush. Let me know if you get the license. Send me a DM and I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, I know we're gonna get it. It's not a question if we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it, but it's gonna take roughly about 30 days for it to happen.
So you give me a discount on the refi.
We'll work something out.
All right. Sounds good. Appreciate it, buddy.
I'll see you next time.
Take care.
You too. So Mike and Wife says, what is double dip? So what he means by double dipping is a realtor can be both the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So when you're the buyer's agent and the seller's agent, normally you get the 3% commission twice. So that agent doesn't get 3%, they get 6% commission. So that is what he meant by double dipping. Hi, Pascal. I refinanced my home in 2012 at 3.75%. I'm in 8 years. Should I refinance again? Personally, I think it's worth refinancing again. Some people I've actually a scenario that just happened like this, same scenario. Guy was purchased property in about 2012, did a refi, and his current rate, I think, is like 4.25, as it's not 3.75. He wants to refinance, but he wants to refinance into a 15-year loan, and the rate is 2.625. And the rate is basically, the new payment is the same as his old payment, but he shaved off a whole bunch of years on his mortgage. So you could do option one, do a 15-year and shave off a whole bunch of years on your loan and pay it off faster. Or my preferred method, I prefer refinancing into another 30-year, try to get a rate at like 2.99 or 2.75 and a 30-year option. Then you can choose to make extra payments if you want to pay it down faster, or you can choose to use that extra cash flow that you have saved up to reinvest into more deals. Because paying down a loan that's 2.75% interest, I don't think it's really a good deal, because you can use that money and make more than 2.75%. It's cheap money. And then the fact of our cash has become worthless over time. So the longer you wait before paying back the loan, the better it is for you, because the money you pay back in the future to the loan is going to be easier to make that money. And lastly, if you buy more assets, I think assets are going to appreciate significantly in the future. So why not? Why not invest your money, make 15% on it while you're only borrowing it for 2.75%? Personally, I'm doing cash out refinances, taking out all the extra equity, keeping the money in the bank, getting ready to buy these deals when they're 20, 30% off. Because think about it. If you buy a $250,000 property that was worth, say, $350,000, you're only putting down 20%. So $50,000 is what you put down. When it goes back up to $350,000 in, say, 5 years, you just tripled your money. I think borrowing money at 2.75% and using that money to invest into something else that triples in value, ignoring how much you're going to make in rent, is a good deal. But do I think if I was you, what would I do? I'd do it. All right. Everyone on YouTube, I see everybody on YouTube, but they're all quiet. No questions, guys? Is it true you shouldn't refinance unless it's at least 1% lower in interest than you're paying now? It really depends, Anthony. Sometimes you can refinance if it's 0.5%. It doesn't just the percentage rate. It also matters how much cash out you can get. Also matters if you have any other loans anywhere else. Because if you have a bunch of money owed elsewhere that's significantly higher than the interest that you could get on a home loan, by you refinancing, you could free up a whole lot of cash flow and you can reduce the amount of interest you're paying. So it depends. But 1% is usually a good deal. I mean, if you have a $200,000 loan, you're saving $2,000 a year in interest. Times 10 years, that's $20,000 in interest you're saving. How do you spend your money? Do you live your life with your success? So Tony, like, I think you've seen in videos, I have an i8, I have a 1978 Datsun, I have a very large house, and I live very comfortably, and I live by my own means. I chose this life for freedom. I want to be able to do what I want when I want. That's really what the type of life I'm choosing to live. I could buy more stuff if I wanted more stuff. I don't really choose to because I'm satisfied with where I'm at. And I really like the real estate game, so I want to save money so I can buy more stuff, more real estate, make more money, and then eventually if I want to buy some more cars, I can just go buy it and not care because I'm making so much in the real estate game. So I balance between being conservative and enjoying myself. I do basically let myself have whatever I want, but I also make myself earn certain rewards. So you'll see me like we're talking about powerlifting, we're talking about dieting. You'll see me, I can eat whatever I want if I wanted, but I'll go very strict and I'll put myself on a diet and I'll make myself cut weight because I'm challenging myself. I'm making myself grow. And once I hit that certain weight and I do certain things in my competition, and if I win, then I'll let myself splurge a little bit, eat some junk food, go out drinking, have some fun. And then eventually I'll go back to being strict again. Because if you go out and you're just eating like crap all the time, you're going to eventually get fat. So you have to rein in, you have to control yourself. Yeah, I can buy what I want, but at the same time I have self-control because I know what just constantly buying stuff for what you want numbs you. The stuff means nothing after a while. So it's good to have self-control in every aspect of your life. Great questions, Tony. So Edgar says, hey, Pascal, got a loan from EIDL for an investment property. Thinking of selling. Would I have to pay it back as soon as I sell? So an EIDL loan is an economic disaster relief loan. And that loan is supposed to be used for operating expenses of the business. They do not give the loan for an investment property. They give that loan for the business that's running the investment property. So if you sell the investment property, the business isn't technically shut down. The business could still be open. So if you have ABC Company got the loan. ABC company owns an investment property. If ABC company sells the investment property, they don't technically have to pay back the EIDL loan as long as the ABC company is still open and is going to eventually buy more properties or do something else. But if ABC property is shut down and that company's closed, technically you would have to repay the loan. But if you're planning to buy, say, another investment property or open another business within ABC company, then you're still an opened company and it doesn't look like you would have to pay the loan. Again, you can refer to a lawyer to get more details, but that's just from my understanding of the program. Good question. Anthony Cruz says, what is better, cash out or a HELOC refi if you have paid 15 years of your mortgage? Personally, Anthony, this is what happens if you have a house and it's worth $500,000 and you've paid off $250,000. And now you have a first mortgage of $250,000 and you go get a home equity line of credit for the other $250,000. What happens when the market crashes is these banks will freeze home equity line of credit. So you thought, oh, I have a $250,000 line of credit. And when the market tanks and then I find a good deal, I hear this all the time from my dad, then I will pull the money out and buy the deal. And I tell my dad, last time this happened, they shut down your home equity line of credit. I told you they were going to shut it down. I told you to pull all the money out. You said you didn't want to. And then they shut your home equity line of credit down. You could not pull any money out. Then you started finding all these deals and you couldn't buy them. Do you want to go through that again? And he basically said, yes, he does, because he still doesn't want to pull the money out. So sometimes people just can't get over the way that they do things. But what you have to remember is that they can shut down that home equity line of credit. That just because they gave it to you doesn't mean they have to give it to you forever. Okay? So my opinion, home equity line of credit, no. I would do a cash out refi. What am I doing? I'm doing a cash out refi, pulling out all of my cash, and then I'm getting a home equity line of credit for the rest. And if they shut down the home equity line of credit, it sucks, but not that big of a deal. I still got my home equity. I still got the cash out from the first mortgage. And normally when the market becomes very, very unstable, I'll pull out all the cash out of the home equity line of credit and let that sit in my bank as well. Just sit in the savings account. Because, hey, I'm okay with paying the interest because I know when I find a great deal, I get such a discount on it, it'll make up for all the interest that I paid, and then I'll still make, a ton more money on top. Again, this is my style of investing, and I have a high risk tolerance. So if you don't have a high risk tolerance, like my dad, then maybe this is not your style. I'm just explaining to you what I've been doing, how it works, and why it works. It works in this the new world we live in. And the question here says, can your methods work in the UK? The answer is yes, it can work in the UK. How do I know this? One of my good friends, Johnny, is an investor in the UK, and he buys hotels on the water in the UK. He gets some crazy deals, like he bought a 10-unit property on the water in the UK for like $150,000, and remodel it and rents it out. And it's like literally you're looking at the beach. It's his building, the road, the sand, and beach. So it's like crazy. Can't get a property, a 10-unit on the beach here for $150,000. So yes, it can work in the UK. All right, so Gabriel says, hey, Pascal, I heard on the news that the Trump administration and the CDC have ordered the halt of evictions until the end of the year. How do you combat this? So right now, you can still do evictions, at least in Florida, but you have to give them a 30-day notice. So you give them a 30-day notice for an eviction. And then after the 30-day notice, then you can start the eviction process. Now, That's how it is in Florida. I'm not sure if what the administration's rule has now negated the Florida rule. So you really have to consult an eviction attorney to see exactly what's allowable. And again, the rule that just came up, or these rules that you're talking about regarding the evictions, they're evictions related to not paying rent and COVID. So if the eviction is not related to COVID, then there's a good chance you can still file an eviction. If the property is coming to renew and you choose not to renew the tenant, you can have them removed for that. So there's many reasons that you're going to remove a tenant. Christian says, "Hello again. Have a good stream today." Thanks, Christian. Hound Doggin says, "Do you have to pay back a loan?" Okay, doesn't make very much sense. All right, answer a couple more questions. So 1301 says, what's the basic rules of real estate? Location, location, location. That's it. If you get that right, you'll be fine. So guys, God bless you all. Hope you have a great night. The link in the bio on IG has my course, Foundations of Personal Finance. I'll basically show how I went from 0 properties at 19 to 23 units by the age of 23. Great things are going to come in next year. Evictions should start happening, and it's going to be a great opportunity to buy deals. I think the deals are going to start then, and we'll probably have about 3 years of a buying window, at least 2. So be prepared. It's great to see everybody again. Have a great night.